currently in a hotel in Osaka, Japan at the time of recording this on my honeymoon with my wife. Now, because my wife's awesome and I wanted to visit a cinema in Japan, she was like, okay, hey, I'll come with you. So today we experienced Marvel's latest movie, Thunderbolts, and here's my review. Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome to the channel and thank you so much for sparing your own time out to check out my thoughts on Thunderbolts. This is directed by Schreier. Last movie he did was 2015 Paper Towns, which I actually did see and I didn't mind that movie. This stars a whole heap of people, but essentially it is kind of bringing back the stories that Marvel have done so far and TV shows like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It also addresses Captain America, Brave New World, and other projects like Ant-Man and the Wasp, for example, and it gives us this telling of Thunderbolts, where essentially a rat-tag team of anti-heroes at this point have to team together to save the day. After walking out the cinema, myself and my wife, Emma, we had a great time with Thunderbolts. This felt very kind of old school Marvel, where they didn't try to basically throw in 20 stories into the future and set up 20 different things going on in later timelines. This felt as if it was taking the stories what Marvel have already done in certain TV shows and movies, brought some characters together to actually give some depth and substance to them, whilst also layering that with a story that kept both me and my wife really interested. Now, the cool thing is we got to check this out in Japan, in Toho Cinemas in Dotonbori. The cinema experience was pretty cool. Everyone was really silent throughout. Even in the credits, no one got their phone out. Everyone was respectful. Watch the credits and you can just read all the names on screen, where this does have 2 post-credit scenes. In terms of the positives, Florence, Pugh, David Harbour, you've also got Wyatt, Russell, Sebastian, Stan. They all do really, really well. Especially Florence Pugh gets her time to shine, and I think she really, really does for what they give her. Yes, a few scenes that they do kind of rinse and repeat with her story. It makes sense as to why they do that, and this almost kind of feels as if it's the sprinkles that's going on top of a really delicious cupcake. However, the cupcake is not here right now. The cinematography is really good, the sound, the acting all around, and again it was just a really cool experience to experience this in a Japanese cinema. But it was just good just to have a fun time, have some popcorn and a drink, and me and my wife both had a really good time with this. Now, okay, so this has 2 post-credit scenes. The first post-credit scene is just something little, silly and daft, and then the second post-credit scene flies into 14 months later down the road. Now, in this time, this does follow on a little bit from Captain America Brave New World with Sam Wilson, of course, who is now Captain America, that him and Bucky Barnes, Sebastian Stan, have had a falling out, as the Thunderbolts are now the new Avengers. Now, this I actually really liked because it did tease a spacecraft entering an orbit, and it's a spacecraft of the Fantastic Four. Now, that I appreciate because Marvel used to do a post-credit scene that would set up the next movie, and this felt in line with that, right? So I was like, hey, this is great. Now, upon kind of further revelation and upon kind of further thinking, does it also kind of spoil Fantastic Four? What I mean by that is, because we see this shift, do we all now know that Fantastic Four, all of them are going to be okay? Now, don't get me wrong, obviously they are. Probably are, right? They're not going to hire these people that have one movie and then they're gone, right? They're the Fantastic Four, so of course they're going to be okay. But does it also kind of spoil what may happen in Fantastic Four with all these now into the spacecraft, maybe heading towards a different destination? I really don't know, but it did give me that feeling. I was a bit like, you know, we maybe have touched on something a bit too soon here. I don't really know. Now, it does also leave questions as to, right, in this 14-month time period, what's happened between Bucky and Sam Wilson? When we will find that out? That has got me excited, but hopefully it doesn't take too long for Marvel to actually address that compared to their past projects. Now, in terms of negatives for the movie that I have, so we get a character called Louis Pullman, who is introduced as Bob. He also is Sentry and the Void. Now, he's a really cool character, but I do feel as if, once again, Marvel have let it down as they introduce this character into this movie, and it's the first time we see him. So you can feel for his character a little bit and kind of the undertones that they display with him, but I still wish they kind of introduced him earlier for us to actually care about him and to have him here. But I also feel as if they threw in a few characters here where it kind of didn't make sense, but also kind of left me kind of scratching my head as to why, right? Like, Taskmaster was here just to get killed off, right? Fair enough, killing them off. Okay, cool, fine, whatever. But then they have Ghost here from Ant-Man and the Wasp, which was 6 years ago, bear in mind. No, 7 years ago now, coming up. 7 years ago now, coming up. They've brought that character back, but since Ant-Man and the Wasp, we've never seen them again. So what the hell have they been doing for the past 7 years? They don't explain this, and it just left me with some questions and some feelings and some thoughts as to why we're not being just given some obvious answers. And it just felt as if there was a few gaps along the way in which they could have further out this story and actually made it a really, truly unique one, to the point where I rewatched this time and time again. Now, I would rewatch it. I would give it a score of a 3.5 out of 5. My wife really enjoyed it. She would give it a 4 stars. But there's definitely some groundwork here where there's some improvements, but there still is some Marvel trails that aren't top tier quite yet. But have you seen the Thunderbolts? Are you going to check it out? Let me know down below in the comment section so we can continue the discussion down there. If you've enjoyed the video, certainly give it a big thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe to the channel to see new videos like this and a plethora of Japan footage once I get back home. And in the meantime, if you haven't checked out my Patreon, well, you can do so by clicking below by only £2 per month with the link in the description box. And in the meantime, if you haven't seen these videos of mine, we'll click over here, have a bit of a deep dive. And until next time, I'll see you guys. I'll be seeing you later.